The 2019 San Francisco 49ers have reached the Super Bowl through impressive playoff victories over the Vikings and Packers. But in 2018, the 49ers were one of the worst teams in the NFL. This immense turnaround has seemingly happened overnight, but the story goes back much further than that. After the 49ers lost the 2013 NFC Championship game to the Seattle Seahawks, the 49ers completely fell to the doldrums, winning just 15 games in 3 seasons. On January 29, 2017, the 49ers hired John Lynch as the general manager and Kyle Shanahan as the head coach, but the story of this ferocious defense being built goes back a little further. To start building up the ferocious defense we know today, the 49ers made some moves in 2015. In that draft, they drafted Arik Armstead, number 17 overall, who has 19 sacks in his career, and who just stepped up big time with 10 sacks this year. Then they drafted safety Jaquiski Tartt, number 46 overall, who has tackled the ball carrier 271 times in his career. In the 2016 NFL Draft, the 49ers took DeForest Buckner, number 7 overall. DeForest Buckner has 28.5 sacks in his 4 years in the NFL. In 2017, the 49ers hired Robert Saleh as the defensive coordinator, who had spent 3 mediocre years in Jacksonville as the linebackers coach. In 2018, the 49ers signed lockdown cornerback Richard Sherman to a 3-year contract, and then drafted Fred Warner 70th overall out of BYU. Warner had 32.5 sacks in his time at BYU. Finally, in 2019, to solidify their outstanding defensive line, the 49ers snagged defensive end Nick Bosa of Ohio State, number 2 overall, and Dre Greenlaw of Arkansas, number 148 overall in the 5th round. In free agency, the 49ers traded a second-round pick to the Chiefs for Dee Ford, who had 13 sacks with the Chiefs in 2018. The 3 of them would go on to have 16.5 sacks in 2019. The building of this quick and talented offensive attack began when the 49ers drafted freak tight end George Kittle in 2017. He would go on to have nearly 3,000 receiving yards in his first 3 seasons. Midway through the 2017 season, the 49ers would trade a second-round pick to the New England Patriots for one of the best backups in the league, Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo would throw for 7 touchdowns en route to 5 straight wins to close out the season. Looking ahead to the 2018 season, there was high optimism in San Francisco because of 3 reasons. Number 1 being the very elusive running back tandem they had in Matt Breida and Jerick McKinnon. Number 2 being the fact that they had got an all-pro cornerback in Richard Sherman in free agency. And thirdly, because of the hype around having Jimmy Garoppolo for a full season. But before week 1, Jerick McKinnon was injured, and he would lose the entire season, and he has yet to step on an NFL field since. As the 49ers headed into their season opener against Kirk Cousins' Vikings in Minneapolis, many people thought they could make a playoff push, myself included. They lost in disappointing fashion, 24-16, but the Vikings were last year's NFC runner-up, with an upgraded quarterback. This loss didn't mean anything. Week 2 came along, and it saw the 49ers narrowly edge out the Lions at home on a 4th down stop with under 20 seconds to go. Matt Breida absolutely exploded for 159 yards and 12.5 yards per carry. Late in the 4th quarter of their Week 3 battle with the Chiefs, down 14, Garoppolo took off to the end zone on a scramble. Trying to make a move inside towards the majority of the field, he tore his ACL. The 49ers would lose 38-27, and their season took a downward spiral from there. The one positive about it was that George Kittle was selected to the second-team All-Pro honors after the season. Going into the 2019 season, people thought the 49ers would be mediocre, as Jimmy Garoppolo wouldn't be the same with the repaired ACL, and Jerick McKinnon was gone. But the 49ers defense just allowed 281 yards per game and a measly 19.4 points a game. With the emergence of breakout talents in Raheem Mostert and Deebo Samuel, the 49ers offense was one of the best in the league, and could win games when the defense couldn't. The 49ers went 13-3 and defeated both their opponents by a handful of scores in the playoffs. Raheem Mostert really etched his name in everyone's mind after his pure domination of the Packers on live television in the NFC Championship game. And so here they sit, matched up against the Kansas City Chiefs in that high-flying offense in the 54th edition of the Super Bowl. The first one that doesn't feature Tom Brady in 4 years. One of the greatest turnarounds in sports history, in my opinion, and I think the 49ers can capitalize. The 49ers defensive line will destroy Patrick Mahomes and absolutely break him all night, and I think Raheem Mostert will just have to be the secondary on lots of his explosive gains. There are some really great matchups in this game, and I'm hoping for a lot of fireworks. And both teams seem to have the right players to create those fireworks. The ultimate underdogs before the season and the Super Bowl favorite before the season clash in what will be one of the evenest battles we have seen in the Super Bowl in recent memory. That being said, I'm going to roll with the 49ers to beat the Chiefs 35-33.